What's up, homies? We're back with another comic book
oh.
review from your boys at the Heroes Reforged. It's us, me, Adam, Augustine, and we're reading Invincible. We're talking today about volume 14, the Viltrumite War.
Oof.
Boom. It is Robert Kirkman's favorite sitcom title, The Viltrumite War, that classic 80s sitcom.
Very.
And this book, this is a 5-star book for me. I gush gosh love this comic. This volume in particular.
This volume in
one
particular.
Of my favorites.
Okay, I was gonna say
one of my favorites of the entire Invincible run. I've read it before. Augustine's read it before. Adam's never read it. We're gonna start with Adam. Adam, what were your overall thoughts, dude?
Lots of murder and mayhem.
Can you even have one overall thought? Like,
it's one of the
so much.
Yeah, it's one of the longer ones that we read. It's like 7 issues, I think, in one volume. But it's absolutely insane to me how like fast of a read it is, but so much happens. I don't even know where to start, honestly. Like it's so rich and so deep. But I would say like the big highlight moments for me, obviously, was the actual war itself and the quest that Invincible goes on with his father and with Alan and with Tech Jacket and with his brother. I mean, and then you see them take on Conquest and some of the Viltrumites, and that crazy kick-ass fight that they get into. Like, good luck doing that animated, and super good luck doing that in live action.
Right.
Because holy shit, that's gonna be a bloodbath. But to see, and I think in the last issue when we talked about, one of us, it might have been me, but it could have been one of you guys that mentioned like, well, if he's going off planet, he's going to be gone for a long time, and he's gone for almost a year, and some things happen between him and not things between him and Amber, but some stuff happens, and
Amber, do you mean Eve?
Eve.
Wow.
And then he
This
also
comic
has
knocked you back to his high school years.
Taking it back.
The book also, he has some like visions and some thoughts about like what outcomes could occur. And it's just crazy to see some of that stuff that could potentially happen. But there's a little bit of a twisty twist at the end with Thrag and the Viltrumites, which I was like, dude, this is so insane to me, because everything that's going on in this book is just like, this is definitely the one that punched me in the mouth the most. And that's saying a lot, because there's been some other issues that have like kicked me on my ass.
Yeah. Punched you in the mouth or punched you through your abdomen?
That too.
Because that happens a lot.
Damn, bro.
Multiple times. Adam, if you had to pick, what was maybe like the most shocking or surprising moment or story reveal
or standout or anything?
Volume?
Yeah.
In this volume?
In this volume.
Okay, so let's highlight a few. Conquest is back.
Okay.
Yeah.
We get to see.
And then Mark killed a guy. Mark kills him.
Yeah. I mean, legit kills him.
Yeah.
You get to see the somewhat full power of Thrag.
Yes.
Battle Beast comes back.
Battle Beast is back.
Oliver almost dies. What's his name? The Grand guy.
Yeah, the Oliver thing was like, I genuinely thought he was gonna die. I really thought that was it, because it happens in such a chaotic moment that I thought like, damn, this is it. But then you see that he's actually being like reconstructed, and you're like, dude, this is we're going really crazy with this show. Like, we're introducing all kinds of crazy concepts. So that to me probably was one of the bigger ones, because I know Mark's not gonna die. Yeah. Especially in volume 14, like there's so much story. If he dies at the end, that's a whole nother thing. But then Nolan also has a moment where you think he's gonna die as well, where he gets, a fist through the stomach, and I'm like, but that like him and Mark, I thought, okay, they have the potential to live, but Oliver, I really was like, I don't know. It was a big question mark for me. The reunion of Debbie and Nolan was also heavy.
It was
heavy.
I needed a refill on my water for that one.
Yeah, it was concise, and just thinking about the animated show, I'm like, they may do it different. They really may do it different. That is a scene that may demand a longer, beat, because this book moves so fast, and like you said, Adam, there's so much that happens in this volume that I feel like they didn't gloss over it. It's impactful, and every word that Nolan says is like essential, because Debbie's just like, I can't forgive you for what you did, and Nolan's just like, it wasn't me that was doing that, and everything he says is like I think, the perfect thing that he could say without, but there's still moments in this book where Nolan is still Nolan, where I'm like, you're an idiot. You
Yeah.
don't know, human life. You still
Right,
can't
right.
grapple with your own emotions. Like, it's so
Yep.
interesting how or when Debbie breaks up with her boyfriend on Earth after seeing Nolan, and it messes her up. And 10 months later, we catch up again with Debbie, and she's telling the boyfriend Paul to come and get his stuff and get out of the
Yeah.
house. And Nolan's like, you couldn't be with another male once you saw me. It's like, Nolan, shut the hell up, man. You're saying the wrong thing. But the way that we've explored that character up to this point and the trauma that he has endured, and he says, I had to deprogram 1,000 years of life.
Yeah.
I can't decide which character I've kind of grown to love more, which is messed up. From the beginning of the book to now, Rexplode or Nolan, they both have these arcs where I'm like, you learn so much about the man, and you learn how he is so traumatized and why he is the way he is. And the way that Nolan acts in this book with Oliver, I changed my mind. I want you to come with, and they spend months bonding. And the way that he treats Mark, and the way that he talks to Debbie, and the way that he knows he can't go back to Earth, and he's like a fascinating character, and he's still. You get to a point in the book where you think he's dead, and there's still a part in your brain where you're kind of like, good, he needed to die, because, and he even says the Viltrumites should be wiped out. And I know how hard that is for me to say, but like, we deserve nothing less than genocide because of who we are as a people.
Right.
You're
right.
like,
well,
damn, dude.
That ties into the end of this volume, in which Alan is now the great Alan, and he's got the key, which will, essentially eradicate all those dudes. Yeah, he's got the virus, and will eradicate all the Viltrumites, including his friends. So that's a tough spot to be in, like he formed real close friendships with Mark and Tech Jacket, and even Nolan. So that's a tricky spot to be in,
Also, what a shit deal for Thrag to be like, we'll just live amongst you and repopulate, and then we'll see what happens. And I'm like, you are a son of a bitch.
Let me tell you this. First time I read it and rereading it now, I am still thinking this is the best possible thing that could have happened. And it's such a brilliant way to end the Viltrumite war, but still have Mark be like, the war's over, but we didn't win. And it's such a great summary of how Robert Kirkman decided to take the story, because in my brain as a reader, I'm like, this is the best possible scenario, because Mark didn't have to continue to cross these lines and kill and wipe out this people. Because if Nolan can be changed, I'm looking at the Viltrumites, in a suit, and then you see Anissa on a park, and she's on a park bench, and she's crushing it because these guys are hitting on her. But Anissa, she's a character that I'm just like, this is so they're all the Viltrumites are so messed up, but it's so funny to see them just buffed out and being like, are you gonna fall in love with a human, or is that thing gonna happen just like Martian Manhunter in the Justice League cartoon, where he thinks he's too detached from humanity? He steps back from the Justice League, and the next time we see him, he's an elderly Chinese man, and he has a Chinese wife. He's living in China. You're like, this is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, the example is there with Nolan. Like, Nolan was one of the greatest warriors Viltrum's ever seen. These guys are, kind of lower tier, but not to say they're not dangerous, but they could easily meet somebody and fall in love and have that, because they're not planning, like, this whole plan is going to take centuries to complete. So
Nolan's only been on the planet since like the 80s, dude. Like, that didn't take that long.
Exactly.
And I think it was such a smart. That's my number one shocking moment, is the first time I read this book. You get to the end, and Thrag's like, "This is the deal. We're staying here," and I was just like, "What is the future of this comic book? This is crazy." I had I could not have seen that coming in 100 years of reading comics. I could not see that resolution coming. Loved it. Augustine, what do you think rereading this book, man? What are your thoughts right now?
It was still a shocker. Once again, I'm gonna take it back to Ryan Otley's art. I'm so glad he's doing the pencils for this, because he puts a level of life and violence into these things that I think is needed, because these fights are so brutal. These fights are I think it's what attracted me to the book, because it's just something that I had never seen to this detail. But at the same time, like, the way it's drawn, the way it's laid out, it's just everything is done so immaculately. So as much as I gave it up to Kirkman in this one, I also give it up to Robert. Specifically that scene where Mark is choking out Conquest, man, where he's all purple faced and bloodshot eyed, and it's absolutely insane. And it's got my mouth open, like, yeah. What?
I'm so glad you brought it up. Ryan Ottley, first of all, issue number 75 took 2 months to draw, and they were delayed. And in the back of the book, they talk about, they're like, we wanted issue 75 to be this big thing, and we had Ryan Ottley drawing like 6 double-page spreads of bodies and fights. And I think Robert Kirkman says, he goes, I think we had a choice to like stay on time, but maybe sort of not do some of that stuff and not go as big, and maybe even bring in like other artists, and because they had other inkers work on the covers to kind of help Ryan Ottley and in their normal process, and they still decided we'd rather be late and have it be awesome. And sure enough, now when we look back on it, it's all in this book. So that's the way to do it, is to take your damn time with it. Look, Watchmen, the comic book, was delayed back in the day in the 80s, and nobody remembers that because they just read Watchmen today in one sitting. So phenomenal. Adam, any other lingering thoughts? I mean, we had some story threads. Robot and Monster Girl are gone.
They're
we don't
in
know
the
what happened
Flaxen
to
universe. Eve. That's right. I forgot
They're
about
in the
that.
Flaxen universe.
In the very beginning,
We don't. Eve gained weight, and she looks gorgeous. And she looked gorgeous when she was thinner. She was
like,
fit.
She was like, "Don't look at me," and I'm like, "Girl, you still
like,
look good. What are you talking about,
girl?" She looks like a normal human being and not a super fit superhero in character. But she went through some stuff in 10 months. There's just a lot to come back to, and I'm going to be a real bastard and say we need a breather. We need to take a moment. We reconnected with our friend Tech Jacket, and he's been going on adventures. So now for the next volume, guys, we're going to read Tech Jacket Volume 2 and see what the heck was going on with him and his story, which I believe this takes place before what we just read. So that's what we're going to explore. We're going to read Tech Jacket Volume 2 Liftoff, and see where this character was at and see what his deal was with his girlfriend, because apparently they're in an open relationship. We're going to learn all about it.
I'm checking to see if it's available on Hoopla, and I'm not sure it's there, but keep going.
Okay. If you can't find Tech Jacket, we're going to tell our
Volume
listeners.
2. Volume 2 is there. Volume 2 is there. Liftoff. You guys have no excuses.
Hoopla, baby. There we go.
Digital.
Before we wrap out, Augustine, any other final thoughts on the Viltrumite War? Adam, any other final thoughts on the Viltrumite War? Go.
I just want to echo the sentiments of the art.
Yeah.
The art is crazy.
Yeah.
Every goddamn page that you turn, you're just...
jaw drop to the floor. Just absolutely brilliant.
It's crazy.
I cannot sing the praises of Ryan Ottley enough.
Yeah.
Facts, baby.
Let's shout it out to the whole team, too. It's Robert Kirkman, writer, Ryan Ottley, penciler, Cliff Rathburn and Ryan Ottley, inkers, FCO Placencia, colorist, color assistants. We got Sheila Saldana, Ivan Placencia, letterer, Russ Wooten, editor, Sina Grace. This is a team that made such an incredible book. Anybody who worked on Invincible should be proud, and especially anybody who worked on Volume 14. So good. So go read Tech Jacket Volume 2. We'll be back in a week. We're back, baby. We're reading comics. We're here every week. We're getting to it. Volume 14 out of like 25. What the hell's going to happen? We're going to find out. But first, Tech Jacket. So we'll see you guys in a week. Bye.
All right, bye.